I had to keep saying, this is right out of a camera. There's no VFX work to this at all because it was a beautiful sunset with perfect waves and mist coming up from the shore on this giant cliffside. Really impressive stuff. Glenn, tell me who said that.
Famous producer Kevin Feige to Chloe Zhao, director of Marvel's The Eternals, wasn't it?
Yes, it was his reaction to the test footage of her shooting a sunset by the waves with a real
real life.
camera in real life. Yeah, because Chloe Zhao had to convince Kevin Feige, a guy who has been producing movies for over 2 decades, what it looks like when you shoot outside with a real fucking camera. And that is the reason why Thor Love and Thunder looks like ass. Let's talk about Thor Love and Thunder.
Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Up you wake, up you wake, up you wake, up you wake!
I'm like pretty sure this is the worst MCU movie, in my opinion.
Really, though?
Yes.
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I think this is worse than that.
Really?
I don't want to watch either one of those movies ever again, but this was like a whole nother level of like, I hate this.
I mean, yeah, I hate a lot of stuff in this movie too, but I feel like at least in this movie, we have Christian Bale like giving a really good case that he could have also been the Joker in The Dark Knight. He could have played every role if he wanted to.
But also with like the Christian Bale stuff, he feels like how Hela felt in Thor Ragnarok, how she was like barely in the movie. You just forgot that he was there. I felt like that the whole time in this movie too.
He's not too comparable to Hela because what he's doing in the plot is like directly connected to Thor, whereas Hela in Ragnarok, as soon as like she kicks him out of the Bifrost, she's just irrelevant to his story until the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's like constantly around. He's doing stuff. He kidnapped the kids. I guess this is fucking It now. This movie's like It Part 3 or whatever.
I'm kind of over the whole, like, everything in these Thor movies is a joke. There was this one sequence in the beginning where we saw Natalie Portman, and she was getting, like, chemotherapy, and then I was like, okay, this is, like, a little serious moment right here, but 2 seconds afterwards, Darcy shows up, and she's just making jokes, and I was like, okay, well, it's ruined.
I know people are talking about, like, the writing and, like, certain dialogue moments, like when Jane Foster goes, it's not Lady Thor, it's the Mighty Thor. Like, people are talking about that, but, like, honestly, the dialogue in that chemotherapy scene is fucking awful. And you can see it on the actors trying to do gymnastics around the dialogue. And also, specifically Darcy, like it felt so unlike her watching the 3 movies with you and then like editing the video that's coming out this week. Darcy has a very specific voice. It's an annoying voice. Sometimes it's funny. But like the chemotherapy scene just felt so off. It just didn't feel right.
The only way to make a scene serious was when Gore tied everybody's mouth shut and made them all shut up, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is working.
I didn't even like that scene either. There was parts about that scene that I liked. I liked that we were actually getting serious and we were bringing back like the Thor lore from like, you know, before in the other movies. The Thor lore, yeah. Right? Don't they bring up Valkyrie's, you know, her whatchamacallit, them dying? But also I think there was something with Thor about how he didn't do something. Like he was basically like Vecna from Stranger Things. I liked that aspect of it, but I didn't like the way it looked. I hated it. Even Thor Ragnarok, everyone's like, oh, that's the colorful one. But Thor the Dark World looks way better than Thor Ragnarok with the colors and everything.
Did you know that for the Dark World, they actually shot on location?
Fucking tight.
At like some points?
Cool. I like that. I like when movies
do
the
here.
bare minimum. But even in that scene, the lighting on Christian Bale compared to everyone else just felt so off. And you can see his body being disconnected from the background. It was just so clear. And the fact that there were only 2 colors on screen makes it even more apparent. It felt like I was watching Sin City, and I don't like Sin City. I know a lot of people like Sin City. I do not. I like the books. The books are cool, but those movies suck.
I feel like the only real place that looked like they were actually shooting on like a set or something was when the Guardians were there in the beginning, kind of low-key, with like all the rocks and stuff around them. I was like, okay, this is actually on a set. But then like everything else just looked fake.
It's like a 10-foot set.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I said this before, but I'm over the jokes.
And it wasn't like different kinds of jokes. It was the same kind of joke. It's that almost every joke was hey, this line is funny. There weren't a lot of visual jokes. There was, when Thor gets naked and all the girls fall, but that was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Edgar Wright, his movies have a lot of jokes in them, except for Last Night in Soho. That whole movie was a joke, but in a bad way. In his good movies, Scott Pilgrim or Hot Fuzz or like movies like that, there was way more visual jokes than there are like actual like dialogue jokes. But with these Marvel movies, it's so Paul Feig, Melissa McCarthy-esque.
It just makes me like cringe in my seat. It's weird.
You know what's weird? Heimdall's kid. His face just appearing. That was
Wait,
really
let's talk
bad.
about that.
Oh my god. The visual effects in this movie are so bad. Legitimately embarrassing. I got secondhand embarrassment.
Have you ever seen the TV show Goosebumps as a kid or no?
I did, but I don't remember it really.
There's this one episode with a haunted mask or something like that. Towards the end of the show, all the mask heads start like floating around. That looks much better than this movie from 2022 that cost $250 million to make.
Yeah. Going back to Stranger Things, like when you're watching Stranger Things, the visual effects, when there's people in there, it looks like garbage. But when it's just the visual effects shot on its own, it looks pretty cool. And that's how it feels here. But this is a Marvel movie. This is like a real movie, apparently, and not a television show. It looks like garbage. All the backgrounds suck. The lighting sucks. Or the only scene that I think looked good is when they were at Eternity, when Gore and Jane die. That looked good, but okay, one time, tight. Speaking of Jane, her hair is just like awful. Why is she so glammed up? Like she's ready to go on a runway or something. There's no stakes. Taika Waititi did the fake death thing like 10 times in this movie. Gore's daughter dies, and then she's back at the end. Thor kills Zeus with the thunderbolt, and then
and then he's back in the
and then he's back at the end. Yeah, he's fine. Tessa Thompson gets stabbed by the thunderbolt, and then she's fine. She's like, I'll be okay, whatever. I'll just stand up and we'll walk around this hospital and it'll be fine. The thunderbolt got all of this narrative weight to it when they were like describing it, and it got that light show when Zeus did his entrance, but like it doesn't mean anything because if you get stabbed by it, you'll be fine. So, I mean, it's Zeus's thunderbolt. You'd think it would kill someone, but nope, doesn't do shit.
They were going to use it on Gore, so like would that have killed him?
Probably not. Oh, and then Jane dies, and then we see her at the end credit in Valhalla. I understand that in Valhalla they're dead, but like we didn't need to see it. Like we needed to feel her death. Everyone who's like gonna die just doesn't, except for Gore. Gore's the only person who dies. That's
and actually dies.
It's stupid, yeah. And all the deaths that happen are meaningless and nobodies. Like no one cares. It's just a waste. There was no stakes in this movie at all. Even Jane Foster, like first of all, she dies and then she's back, but also she was gone for like 9 years and we didn't see her in any of these movies. So what even matters?
Yeah, like where is she? Where did she go?
Speaking of that question, Thor says that she wrote him a letter and they broke up. And then they like showed a whole cliched thing about their relationship with this montage. Like who gives a fuck? We already know what happened. Spend more time on other shit that we haven't seen or you haven't told us already. Oh, and then Korg almost dies because he gets hit by the thunderbolt.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And then his face is there.
No stakes. There was no stakes in this movie. Nothing fucking matters. Nothing matters. So annoying. I might just drop it down a point just talking through it.
There's an ice cream shop in New Asgard about Thanos' glove or whatever.
Infinity cones.
Imagine if in real life there was an ice cream shop about 9/11 and you're like, oh, let's go get some 9/11 ice cream.
You want to go get a South Tower cone?
Stupid.
Or if there was like a Hitler's haberdashery or something, like
yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, let's fucking do that. Yeah. All right. Did you laugh at any point in this movie? Because I only laughed once.
I don't remember. Maybe the goats the first time, but then they just kept doing it and I was like, okay, I'm over it.
Yeah, why didn't they just like ditch the goats somewhere? I'm sure he put work into it, obviously, because he had to come up with the shots and he had to write the script. I don't know. I feel like he didn't give a shit.
It definitely has that vibes.
He's made good movies before, so it's not like we hate Taika Waititi. Marvel sucks, and they're just in this state of making content for content's sake, whether it's the shows or these movies. There's no direction yet because they're in a large transitionary period where they have to make new Avengers and, set up, Secret Wars or whatever the fuck they're doing. They'll announce it soon. And, and then they'll have deadlines to force visual effects people to fucking want to kill themselves. Did you see that article?
Yeah, I did see that article.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So, fuck Marvel, fuck Thor, fuck Taika Waititi in the context of Thor. And I'm giving Thor Love and Thunder a 4 out of 10. Could be a 3.
I'm giving it a 3 out of 10, actually, so look at that.
Cool.
It's my least favorite Marvel film.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you agree or disagree, tell us in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends. Do all the things. The Matrix video is coming soon. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
You have to get past the Avengers and Marvel shit at some point, okay? Other people make movies.